This is the Helpful Lockpicker here, and welcome back to my lockpicking homeschool series. The video I have for you today is going over bitch picking. Bitch picking is probably the most unrefined version of opening a lock that you'll probably see. It is literally just sticking your hook in the lock and just poking around without any care of what you're doing until it opens. Just in case you're just tuning in for the first time and you'd like to see a more traditional approach on how to open locks in a more refined sense, please check out my video number 71 that goes over how lockpicking works and how to open locks by single pin picking. But let's go over how bitch picking works right now. I'm going to put my tension wrench in the bottom of the keyway here, and I'm just going to hold a light tension. I'm not going to push down too hard. And I'm going to place my hook into the lock, and I'm just literally going to just wiggle it around up and down until the lock opens, not paying any attention to where I am in the lock or what pin is set, and it will just eventually open up the lock. And now we are open. You can see now that the plug has turned and the key pins down here are separated from the driver pins. And when we're just poking around or literally just lifting on random key pins, hoping that we will set the driver pin up top and hopefully the lock will open. But what I'd like to show you is how surprisingly effective this technique can be. I have a good spread of locks today. I'm going to start off with a couple quick set locks and we'll see what we can get open. It's just, these quick set locks are locks people use on their residence. Very common type of lock. This quick set lock is a 5-pin lock that goes into a doorknob, and we have just opened this one in just a few seconds. And this is a skill that you don't typically even need to know what you're doing in order to get the lock open, because you are not putting any focus into what you're doing. You're just inserting your pick and just poking around, just kind of going up and down up until something opens up the lock. Just poking each and every pin in whatever order, and then the lock will eventually, hopefully, open. And this is a quick set 5-pin lock, and this one is a Defiant brand, but it has the KW1 keyway. This is a common lock you find on a deadbolt. So between these two, you could have opened up the doorknob and then the deadbolt very quickly. And just for good measure, I have another quick set here. This works on many of the locks that you can buy at any hardware store, like places like Home Depot. It's just works surprisingly well. But one thing you need to always keep in mind is that security is only as strong as its weakest link, and it's often not the lock that is the problem. If you have a weak door, if you have windows, anything, people can get in quite easily. But here's the master lock number 3, which is the quintessential starter lock. And just keep poking around. And then if I don't get it after a minute here, I'll just give it a little zip open sometimes. This is a 4-pin lock. This is the lock that many people start off on when they are just learning. So we got this one open. Okay. Let's see. Now, that is the first lock on my progressive lock list. Now, we're going to get into some locks that even have some security pins now. This is the Master Lock model number 140. And I'm going to try to bitch pick this one open. It's a 4-pin lock with 1 spool. And I'm literally not paying attention to where I'm setting pins. I'm just moving it around up and down. And then this one is opened. And this lock does have 1 security pin in it. The next lock is my Brinks 40mm laminated padlock. This one has 2 spools in it. It's still a 4-pin lock, but it opens up pretty well. This is a pretty good lock for someone to learn on in general. Okay. So we're gonna just kind of poke around until we get the lock open here. Let's see. And the lock is now opened rather quickly. The final lock I have is a master lock model number 570. Now this lock has the most security pins out of what we have seen. This lock has a pretty decent core. It's a 5-pin lock and it contains 4 spools and 1 standard pin. And we'll see what it takes to get this one open. And the lock is now open. So, as a recap, we opened up this clear acrylic lock. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 locks. 3 of them were Kwikset brand, a doorknob one, 2 deadbolts. These are all 5-pin locks with standard pins, and that's the way that you can normally get them at the hardware store. Some of them have some security pins in now, but don't make a huge difference. A master lock number 3, which is the quintessential beginner lock, which is 4 pins with all standard pins. Master lock 140 with 4 pins and 1 spool. Brinks 40mm laminated padlock, which is 4 pins and 2 spools. Master lock model number 570, which is a 5-pin lock with 4 spools and 1 standard pin. One thing I want everyone to know is that security is as strong as its weakest link. Yes, we are able to open up some of these locks rather quickly. However, in reality, most people do not pick locks if they are trying to have a bad intent. A lot of these break-ins are caused by destructive entry, and the best thing you can do to secure your home is add longer strike plates to your doors, longer screws, have a nice strong sturdy door. You can consider double cylinder deadbolts where it takes a key on both sides, but that has some entrapment risk as well. Just don't get freaked out by how easy some very common locks open up. And, don't ever pick locks that are in use. This is for educational purposes. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, please subscribe. As always, thank you so much and have a great day.